Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you the final checkout video of a really cool wooden wall crank telephone, and this is Len's telephone from Illinois. And basically we did an initial checkout video of this telephone, kind of showing, some of the problems that it had. But basically what we did with this telephone, since Len wanted to use it as an extension phone, but yet he still wanted the bells to ring when you cranked the handle over here, the crank. And so basically we've set it up that way. Now, when we did the initial checkout video of this telephone, in the transmitter, we showed that somebody had gotten in there and basically took the transmitter out and actually stuck a bolt in to hold on the encasement. And so we took that bolt out, and we have the two mounting screws in this encasement here now, so that's been repaired. And we also went to a situation where we have a very small PC board as a network, and since he didn't have any transmitter, and his receiver in his receiver capsule here wasn't really working out. So what we did was we installed a different receiver and capsule and a different transmitter, so it has a microphone in it, and this has a more modern network in it, so there shouldn't be any REN problems with the voltage, and any telephone line should work with this telephone, and it won't pull too much REN. And normally we like to try to go with original parts on the receiver and the transmitter, but in this case, since it didn't have its original transmitter and the receiver wasn't working out, we just went ahead and made the call and put a network in it and have a newer style mic and a receiver capsule in it. So basically we're going to do some checks on this telephone. We've set it up like Len wanted. When the telephone is hung up, and basically you only want to do this when the telephone is hung up. You don't want to lift the receiver and then crank the crank, or you're going to put some back voltage into the telephone line. And so anyway, you want to do this when it's hung up. We're going to go ahead and ring the bells now. So that turns nice and easy and rings the bells. So now let's do this. Let's go ahead and ring the telephone. Let it go one more time. I'll go ahead and answer it. Give you some dial tone. And the other issue was what type of telephone this really was. And there's so many different telephone companies out there and telegraph companies that were making wood wall telephones. It's actually kind of hard to say. Now, I tried to research it a little bit, and I do believe it's probably a Kellogg, like the receiver capsule says on it. But you can't always go by that, because that may have been placed with the telephone long ago. But one clue might be this lightning arrestor on the side. And so basically, that would be a clue to this telephone, and just the basic looks of the telephone. But a lot of them look the same, but they have on the shelf here, they have this one board that kind of is the, that holds the shelf up, the bracket, a single bracket. So basically, with no markings on the telephone, on the encasement of the transmitter where they usually put them, and nothing left on the inside, you just have to kind of research it. And that would be probably the best way to go. And I did try to research it a little bit, but I think I found a Kellogg that looks similar to this, that had a similar lightning arrestor on the side. So basically we just have to kind of go by that. And maybe some other things would give it away, like a certain type of hook switch or the insides. But anyway, we have our dial tone now. And what I want to do is I want to make the dial tone go away so that I can, so I want to just kind of, okay. Let's see if that did the trick on the analyzer. We kind of want to, okay, that did the trick. So now we're just sitting there like you would be on the phone, and I want to transmit into the transmitter, and I want you to watch this red light on the analyzer as I talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Incoming message test. Hello, hello. That's an indication of 100% modulation on this red light on the telephone analyzer. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I transmit, you can see that the transmit is working, and so that shows 100% modulation on transmit. So this telephone is going to be an extension phone. So what we could do here is I could go ahead and plug, I'll set the video down for a second. I'll go ahead and plug the line cord over into the regular line. We'll use another telephone. There's our dial tone. I'll go ahead and use another telephone to call like a time and temp number. And then I'll go ahead and hang that phone up.
Good evening. Credit issues? Apply by phone anytime at 622-4600. 622-4600. Same day approval available. Today is Monday, October 3rd. The time is 9:02. Current temperature 64 degrees. Now the weather forecast for the Belleville area. Clear skies tonight, lows in the mid-40s. Sunny skies on Tuesday, highs around 80.
So now we know that the telephone is working. I want to call one other number. Give you some dial tone. We'll take our other phone. We'll call, like, say, Walmart.
Thank you for calling Walmart. Thank you for calling your Belleville Walmart Supercenter where you can save money and live better. How may I help you?
Hi, do you guys carry any wooden wall crank telephones like a Kellogg?
Let me connect you over there where is that where you think it would be, where the regular phones would be?
Probably.
One moment.
Thank you. Let's see what they had to say. Do you guys carry any, like Kellogg wooden wall telephones, the old crank type?
No.
You don't think you'd have any of them?
No, we don't.
Oh, shoot. Okay, well, you take care and have a nice day.
Maybe online.
Thank you.
Walmart.com, maybe.
Well, we know Walmart doesn't carry them. So, anyway, let's take a look at the inside here. And basically, we had to rewire everything. Here's your bell setup. And so that's all in working condition. Here's your connections for your microphone. That comes out of the microphone feed and bracket. Another thing that we did here on this telephone is we installed a modular port. And what Lynn's going to do is there's a hole that was already in this telephone in the back, and you just bring a line cord right in and feed that line port. So it's as simple as that. Basically just had to go through this telephone, rewire this telephone totally the way we wanted it, and rewire the hook switch. Come down here and you can see all your connections for your line and everything. Here's a capacitor that we have to add for the bell circuit. We have our crank, that all stayed the same. And then basically we also installed a new cloth cord that comes in right here for the receiver capsule, and that gets its connections right there. If you kind of look up in there, it's tucked away, but you're going to see some wiring harness, and you're going to see a network, a PC board, which is the network for the modern mic and receiver. And so we kind of tucked it back in there out of the way so it wasn't too visible, just for the simple fact that we kind of wanted to hide that away a little bit. But this kind of gives you a look at this telephone on the inside. This telephone is in very good condition, but the problem with it is there was no markings. There was no tags left on the telephone to indicate what it was, and but it's a beautiful telephone, and it's in really good condition. So basically, with a little care and a little cleanup, I think this telephone is, it's great now, but it'll be even better then. We'll go ahead and crank it. And then what I also am going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and ring the telephone. I'll go ahead and hit the analyzer. Well, what we want to do is we want to plug it back in again, so I'm going to set the telephone down, or the video. And let me get this line cord plugged back in. And we'll go ahead and ring the telephone by the analyzer. Get everything plugged in. Give you a look at the bell. Let that go one more time. We'll go ahead and answer it. Now, the only thing that you want to make sure is when you crank this this telephone is set up so that you can crank it and so that it'll also ring when the line comes in. And I don't know if you can see it real well, but I'm going to give you kind of a look inside here. Right in this area, you're going to see a set of points, and we have it set up to where you'll see them close, and that's the way they're supposed to be. But you'll see them close when you go to crank it, to ring the bell by the crank. And basically what you want to make sure is that this handle kind of releases. It's not been used in years, so it's been oiled and it's been worked with and cleaned a little. So you just want to make sure those points open again so that they're not closed. And for the most part, it's working pretty great. But if it ever comes to be where you don't get dial tone, just make sure that you hit the handle a little bit over here, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that them points are open when you're going to be using the phone. So there's a possibility it might stick once or twice, but the more it's used, there you go, dial tone. As long as those points are closed, you probably won't get any dial tone. That's just the way it's set up. We had to set it up that way. I'll see if I can get dial tone to go away by, let me see if I can do that. If I hold this crank. For the most part, it works every time, but it could hang up a little. But your dial tone would probably go away if them points close. But it's all set up now to be able to crank it and ring the bells with the crank. And then also you can ring it when you get a call. And I'll go ahead and answer it one more time. And that gives you a little look at what's going on. This is a really cool telephone, and it has most all of its original equipment here. It looks like hook switch, bell, the crank, and it's in very good condition. And so I don't even think that you'll notice this little network board that's tucked up underneath here. But in order to make it a usable situation and be able to communicate on this telephone like a normal telephone, we kind of had to go to that situation. So, you know, I mean, it's going to be, this telephone you could use just like you use any other telephone in your home now, and it'll be that clear. So, you know, and the old original stuff we like to try to use, but when it's just not there and it's just not working out, we have to go to this, you know, the other plan. And the other plan is to put a different style receiver and transmitter and a newer style network, and kind of like use all the original things that are left, like the bells and the crank and things like that, and hook switch. So it's kind of like a hybrid in a way. But anyway, this is a look at Len's telephone. It's a really nice wooden wall crank, and I'm just going to have to call it as a Kellogg right now until I'm, you know, led to believe it's something different. But from the research that I did in the phone that I found that was close to it, had the same type of lightning arrestor on the side like that. And so basically I'm going to have to call it a Kellogg at this point. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is Len's telephone from Illinois, and it's a really cool wooden wall crank telephone. It's really kind of in beautiful condition, so it's just a, you know, it's a keeper. Anybody would want this telephone. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.